Welcome back to Marketplace. Now, having been following the Ghana Stock Exchange, you know that it's been about 29 years since it was established. But has it been the preferred place for businesses to raise long-term funds almost 2 decades after that? Well, we've been engaging the acting managing director of the exchange, Fedi, on what they are planning to do to ensure that it becomes the preferred place for businesses in Ghana.
Exciting that we are 29 years, but we still have a long way to go. We need to build the investment culture in this country. We need to build the entrepreneurial spirit where Ghanaian entrepreneurs can look for long-term financing to finance long-term projects. Those are two key things that we need to do. Build the investment culture, get Ghanaian companies to grow bigger and bigger to employ more people by looking for the right finance for the right projects.
In one of your aims in setting out this market, it was all about being the preferred vehicle and platform for raising long-term funds. Do you think that as we speak today, you are there, or you still have a long way to go?
I think we've started on a good note. If you take the corporate bond market, 7 billion have been raised in the space of just 3-4 years. If you take the equity market, 5 billion raised over the last 29 years. And we are still getting companies showing interest. Next year, you're going to see a few coming up to raise money. It's going to take some time. We have to build our culture where people need to raise funds by floating shares. So with time, we'll get there. We just need to keep on educating people, creating incentives for the market, and making it easier for them to go to the market.
One thing that people have also spoken about is how do we make the market appreciable for a lot more people out there. In other developed markets, everybody's on the market. What are you also doing after 29 years to ensure that every Ghanaian sees the Ghana Stock Exchange as the place to do business transactions?
I once told you that the key thing is to make the exchange very visible, and in trying to make it very visible, we'll be educating the investing public as well as entrepreneurs, like I said. And I even said some time back that we need to start from the youth. We need to start from the schools. So we build that savings culture. We build that investment culture. We build that financial literacy. So people will begin to understand that, look, you can save money, invest. Make sure you look at the various risks before you look at the return also in addition, and also build that entrepreneurial spirit, educate them so that Ghanaian companies can also become large entities and therefore be able to contribute greatly to the economy of Ghana.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has again secured more than in dollars in bits, the amount that actually they were looking for in their third auction. The central bank got a little over $71 million request, but the central bank actually was just willing to give out $25 million. Development shows that there is more demand for dollars, but the regulator is just willing to give out a fraction of that. Meanwhile, the Association of Certified Dealers have actually been speaking about this whole arrangement and what it means for the industry. Kofi Asare-Pianim is the president of the Association of Financial Market Operators.
You've got Bank of Ghana generally intervening to support the market as far as like coupons, huge demand pressures that sometimes hit the market and cause volatility, right? And then you've also got the addition and the introduction of the cocoa flow forward auction, which is an initiative by Bank of Ghana just to give some sense of certainty, right? Given like a timeline. They're not built a forward curve per se, but they're giving clients the optionality to be able to buy USD. And of course, as you can see, usually the rate at which these forwards clear is lower than the spot rate, which means that in terms of time value of money, even though they're paying their cedis today, they're getting the dollars at a cheaper rate, which gives them the ability to budget and pass on the cost, especially if you're an importer, to your clients. And at least it creates some certainty around retail flows. So these amounts are not significant amounts. It's $25 million per auction, and this is to target the retail flows. The last thing you want in a market is for a trade of, let's say, 10,000 to 20,000 to end up move the market or lead where price discovery is. And so by Bank of Ghana creating that certainty for clients don't need to clamor for dollars. You don't have to chase dollars, especially if your amount is that retail-like. And therefore, you've got some certainty over a time horizon, and you know you've got the comfort that, okay, over this period, I can buy my dollars at this price. And I think that's all Bank of Ghana is trying to do. So if anything, it's a step in the right direction. It's accretive to the flow that we see as a market. It's not the end, and over time, as you can see, you know, our FX reserves are going up. If you look at our balance of payments as well, for the first time in Ghanaian history, we have a positive trade balance. So that should tell you that somehow we're getting it right, especially on the commodity space and the agricultural space. Now, the thing is that the demand that we have as an economy, as a fast-growing economy, can lead to spikes from time to time. So all you need to do is manage these spikes, because, of course, you've got the fact that depreciation has got like a direct pathway into inflation, because most of the things that we have are imported until we start import substitution. And so the moment you create that certainty in the market, it creates an avenue for you to control inflation and depreciation at the same time. And I think that's what the Bank of Ghana does. So this is supposed to be a complementary tool to monetary policy, just to create some stability, and especially at times like this when there's been so much turmoil in the markets and the global markets as a whole.
The Securities and Exchange Commission is taking steps to ensure that only qualified persons play in the industry. Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Reverend Dailogbami, disclosed this in a discussion to begin the Ghana Investment Securities Institute and other stakeholder bodies to train personnel in the industry to best international practices. According to him, the sector has been faced with many challenges in recent times, such as collaboration, and it's needed to bring back the confidence in the industry. He spoke to Joy Business at the end or at the launch of this course program for dealers and fund managers in Accra.
It is bringing, if you like, an international flavor to the training. Now, what the CC qualification pathway will also do for those who have it is that anywhere that CC is recognized in the world, once you have that qualification, you can operate, you can be recognized, and then you can play any role that suits your capability within that jurisdiction. So it gives it an international flavor. But the basic thing is that we are deepening or enhancing the training so that the human capital that we have for our industry is strong and more professional in delivering. Oh, a lot. Everything hinges around human capital. You know, when you take this industry, securities industry, you're not talking about machines, you're not talking about equipment. It's about the human capital. Of course, the human capital will need technology to help them do their work. But essentially, the human capital is key because it's a service industry. So to the extent that you have a program that will deepen their capacity, and not only deepen their capacity for them to get a license, but on a continuing basis, you are giving them programs that will refresh them and make sure they are on the cutting edge. You are making sure that the right caliber of personnel are operating in the industry. And I can tell you that some of the challenges that may have emerged within the industry, you can trace it to lack of competence. So human capital is so critical where our industry is concerned. So I see this GISI-CC collaboration as a very positive one, and I'm excited because I know that the training that the personnel operating in the industry will be getting from this will be very solid. And then that will make sure that customers who approach our licensed operators can have that assurance that competent people are going to take care of them.
Let's talk about the budget. And Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is hoping to realize 67 billion cedis in revenue at the end of 2020. And the forecast actually represents about 13 billion cedis jump in what it is hoping to realize this year. But is government being too ambitious with this target? And is it achievable? Well, I've been trying to put together a wrap to give you the details on the concerns that have been raised. This projection is coming at a time that government itself is struggling to meet its revenue target for 2019. Based on the data from the Finance Ministry, government should have mobilized 41 billion Ghana cedis as at the end of September this year, but have just got 36 billion Ghana cedis. This is down by almost 6 billion Ghana cedis. It was for this reason that many had thought that government would have been moderate with these projections for 2020 when it came to revenue. But it appears that is not the situation on the ground. Based on the 2020 budget estimates, government has projected a revenue target of 67 billion Ghana cedis. This represents a 13 billion Ghana cedis increase, which many are describing as ambitious. But government, on the other hand, insists it is achievable, arguing that some of these measures that they are implementing would help turn things around. For instance, government sized automating collections and some changes with personnel at the Ghana Revenue Authority would help turn things around. The Minister of Finance, Ken Oforiatta, argues that some of these measures would also help improve the situation. He maintains that the move to extend the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy could also help, as well as looking at taxing the digital economy could be another measure that could also help improve the situation going forward. So I know it's been one of the biggest talk in the office, at the home, and wherever you may be with respect to the budget, whether indeed it's put money in your pocket or not. Well, we hit the street of Accra to get people's views on this and what they make of the budget.
The aspect that were not much favorable was too much politicking, and it's too much reference to 2016 as a basis. We have moved on. There's been so much activity in between 2016 and now. And so you can't go back and be using those same assessments as a basis of good performance in 2019. For me, there was no innovation, but a reference to a taxes which was referred to as nuisance taxes. Indeed, these taxes were, established with a sunset clauses. They were due to lapse some years back. If you have continued it and have increased the rate, you don't go back and say, oh, we've cancelled nuisance taxes and we've done this and we've done that. No. For me, that was a no-no.
The finance minister presented the budget. As usual, for me, I don't see any innovative initiative in the budget. It has been the old rhetoric in the year on, and government come, government gone. You see. So when we come to the specific, all Ghanaians were talking about how the government will raise revenue. And throughout the budget, I didn't see any initiative that will be a paradigm shift in how we can mobilize our revenue, this dwindling revenue that we are having.
We Ghanaians, you don't understand about anything about the budget. They should stop reading the budget for us. Both NDC, MPP, CPP, PNC, we don't need anybody. The person we need the person who is the faithful to God to come and be a presence for Ghana.
Now, women in the tech industry constitute about 28% of professional sector worldwide and just 30% in sub-Saharan Africa, according to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, throwing the light on the huge gap between women and men in exploring careers in science and technology, as well as engineering and mathematics, collectively known as STEM. One group here in Ghana that is doing the best to bridge the gap is developers in the Vogue DIV, an intensive coding bootcamp for women, which will be organizing the Festival of Women in Tech that is on the 16th of November this year. Let's get the details on what this whole thing about and how it can change our economy.
Hi, I am Janet Boache, Partnership Manager of Developers in Vogue.
And I am Nanaya Kunedi, Business Development Manager.
Co-founded by Ghanaian digital nomad Ivy Bali in 2017, Developers in Vogue, DIV, has trained over 2,500 women from different walks of life and ages. Their mission is to provide more opportunities in the tech ecosystem for African women.
Developers in Vogue is an NGO that trains young women in the latest technologies and introduces them to latest opportunities in the tech ecosystem. So we started with the bootcamp, and then it's mainly we run with the hashtag Let a Sister Know. We have from cohort 1 to cohort 8. Trainees are trained to become front-end developers, and we focus on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That is the basics of programming. And then when they advance, they are given the chance to choose a back-end program that they want to focus on, which is PHP, Laravel, and etc.
From basic coding skills to top-notch web developing, DIV does not only empower the young women to become tech-savvy, but also provides job opportunities from companies like Microsoft, Stanbic Bank, Haptel, Vodafone, and others. Evelyn Nusenu is one of the numerous young women to benefit from DIV. After a 6-month training, it gave her the opportunity to be part of the Cosmos Innovation Center Agritech Challenge, a competition where she stands a chance to win $50,000 with her team by creating a technology-driven solution to a problem in agriculture.
I got to know about developers in Vogue last year during the Diva Festival, and I saw the poster and I attended the program. That was the first time I got to hear about developers in Vogue, and the program was very awesome. Through that day, I got to hear about the Cosmos Innovation Center Agritech Challenge, and it was the first time I heard about the opportunity. I applied through Dave, through mentorship on how to do the applications, and I went through all that and I was selected. It has been a 9-month journey, and I would say that my life has never been the same. At first, I used to look up problems, but I don't know how to solve them. But through developers involved, through the Cosmos Innovation Center, I can solve problems.
We want our ladies to get to the top. Then they mentioned that we came through DIV. Then we know that, yes, we're having an impact story, because there's no need for us being here or we doing all this if we are not going to get an impact story or a success story at the end of the day. So when a lady walks in here, we want to see that you're leaving here with something. You're leaving here inspired.
The women at DIV believe that the opportunities for women in technology are many, and thus still continue to encourage women to explore them. In that regard, the team is organizing the Diva Festival, an event to celebrate women in tech.
So with Diva Festival is an idea we brought up mainly because we realized there are not many events out there celebrating women in tech specifically. So there are young girls out there who know they can be a fashion designer, they can be a doctor, but they don't know they can be a computer scientist, they can be a systems engineer, they can be a robotics. They don't know there are women in these fields doing that. So with Diva Festival, we're actually celebrating these women and letting the upcoming youth know there are women out there doing these things, and they can also do the same.
Join the team on the 16th of November at the Afua Sutherland Park, and who knows, you may be opening your door to a new world of technology. For Joy Business, Karen Dudu.
Well, all too soon we have to draw the curtain down on the marketplace, but let's stay interactive on our various social media handles. That is Joy Business on Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram. I know the budget to be one of the top issues on your mind, but what else you think we should be talking about, discussing on our various business platforms? My name is George Yafe, and have a good afternoon.